What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Cold Weather Bats. And this episode here today just means a little bit more. Think back to the very first time we held the CWB Players Draft. A lot of the players who were watching were still in middle school. They were sitting in the stands, watching the live stream, seeing the names get called and thinking, man, I really want that to be me someday. And now it is here. Next Saturday night, February 28th at 7 p.m. at the Huron Valley Athletic Conference, or HVAC, in Milford, we get to do this again. And some of those kids are no longer kids and they are no longer watching. They will be walking across that stage. After the first draft, we got messages from families saying it was one of the most memorable nights of their baseball journey. Players telling us it felt like it was their moment. Coaches talking about the energy in the building. Ever since then, people have been asking, hey, when is the next Players Draft? Well, in just a few short days, it is here. In this episode, we are breaking down what the Player Draft actually is, how it works, why we created it, and why it's not just another event, it's an experience for all. Next Saturday, I will be co-hosting alongside Griffin Green with Chad Bush of the Prep leading the charge of the broadcast. As the three of us will bring the whole night to life, and the three of us are so excited to be doing so. If you've never seen the first one, you are going to understand very shortly why this has become such a big deal. And if you were there or you saw it, you already know what's coming. We will get into it here on just the other side. All right, so before you really get into this, for anyone that's new listening, you're probably like, who the heck is this guy on the screen here? Or if you're listening on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. I am Michael Rubenstein, part of the team here at Cold Weather Bats. Very happy to be a part of this for the last about calendar year or so with Brandon. And next Saturday night, I will be co-hosting the CWB Players Draft alongside Chad Bush of the Prep, who will be leading the way, and Griffin Green. And before anything else, I really just want to take a quick second and recognize the guys who started all this. Cold Weather Bats and the Player Draft itself. It was co-founded by Brian Sakowski and Brandon Justice. If you've been along this whole journey in the last couple of years, you know Brandon is still a part of this. He has come down with what we like to refer to as the plague. So his voice does not sound amazing, so he'll not be joining us tonight. And obviously, Brandon Sakowski, if you are unaware, is the director of recruiting at the University of Virginia. So this whole idea started with their vision of creating something different for Michigan high school baseball players. It's not just rankings, not just write-ups, but it's truly a real experience. It's something that gave the players their moment, and it really was a fantastic environment for all. Dan Griesbaum Jr. was a big part of shaping this early on as well, and I'm genuinely excited to take what they've built and continue it and expand it and make this thing a truly amazing thing, because it was never meant to be just a one-off event. Really, with Cold Weather Bats, this is synonymous. It was synonymous. It was a fantastic event when they did run this. The Prep is a tremendous partner for this. We are very excited to be working on this with them, and we'll dive into more of how this is going to look on a greater scale here shortly. But it was truly built to become part of the culture here in the Michigan high school baseball scene. So, what is the CWB Player Draft? At its core, it's what it is. It's what it sounds like. It's a real draft. Real teams, real selections, names called. Players are going to walk across the stage. Families are in the crowd. Teammates watching. Cameras are going to be rolling. Tons of energy in the room. But it's truly more than just names being announced. So let's really explain what this is. We've gotten a lot of questions from players, from coaches, from families. What is the Players Draft? So the Cold Weather Bats Player Draft is built to give players their true draft moment. It is being modeled after the MLB and the NFL draft, but on a high school level in our baseball culture here in Michigan. And the reason we built it that way is most players will not have the experience to be able to walk across the MLB draft stage or the NFL draft stage. Most won't ever hear their name called on a stage. They won't have cameras on them. They won't get that pause where everything slows down and it's just their name echoing through a room. So we decided, hey, why not create it and keep it going? Every player who attends is guaranteed to get drafted. This isn't about exclusion, it's about recognition. They get officially selected to a CWB team. Their name gets called. They walk across the stage. There's photography, there's video, and each player gets a brief moment to speak. And that part matters. For the players, they get to thank their parents, their coaches, their teammates, their grandparents. Heck, the neighbor down the road that taught them how to play catch. The people who drove them to 6 a.m. lifts in the late night tournaments when they were kids. They get their moment to thank all the people who helped shape their journey. It's not just a name being read off of a list. It's a moment built around each and every single player in their story. And that's why we're encouraging all family to be there, parents, grandparents, close friends. We want the room to really feel like a real draft night, energy, emotion, pride. And it's something that's going to be an amazing experience for all. It's something that before we get to the craziness for all of you players listening of high school baseball tryouts, where things get really crazy and it's almost like a business sense, right? You're trying to work hard for all that common goal to get East Lansing. It's a moment to just let loose, relax, and be a kid. So the event is going to be held at the Huron Valley Athletic Complex, HVAC, February 28th at 7 p.m. in prime time. It'll be live on YouTube through the prep and through Cold Weather Bats. It's going to be streamed on all of our social medias as well. So if you're not able to be there, you'll be able to see it literally wherever you want to pull it up on your phone, tablet, computer, or TV. We'll have professional photography and video on site. And really, we're encouraging anyone that comes to dress nicely because they want to capture the moment, something they'll be able to look back on from years from now. The best part, it's no cost. It's an amazing event that we have a boatload of amazing sponsors that are supporting this event. We'll dive into those amazing sponsors here as we continue tonight's episode. For players, for families, and for guests, it's really going to be an amazing experience and event. So this is about celebrating Michigan baseball the right way. So we will dive on into here. We'll welcome Griffin Green here in just a moment. But before we do so, we will pause for a word from one of our show sponsors. All right, let's talk bats for a second because the season is coming fast. Weather's starting to warm up, cages are filling up, and if you're still swinging last year's model, it might be time for an upgrade. If you need a new bat this season, do it the right way. Support Cold Weather Bats and grab yours through Just Bats. Why Just Bats? Easy. They've got one of the largest bat selections anywhere. Every brand, every drop, every certification. Most orders ship free, and if you order early enough, same-day shipping gets that bat to your doorstep even faster. Plus, if need be, they have bat experts that actually know what they're talking about. So you're not just guessing, you're getting fit correctly. New season, new bat, no excuses. Simply scan the QR code on your screen or go to the link in any of our social media bios. Support Cold Weather Bats, shop through Just Bats, and get ready to swing when it counts. All right, it's time to bring on in our very, very special guest. We'll bring on in Griffin Green. We've seen this from the inside. First off, Griff, how are we doing? Welcome to the episode here today.
Oh, it's great to be here. Great to be back. Great to be back with you, Rube. All right. I'm feeling great. Hey, Ash Wednesday. Get your ashes, people. Yep. Listen, at the end of the day, you can be Catholic, Christian, whatever. I'm a big believer, and you got to believe in something. I know this is the baseball podcast, but we'll just talk about that briefly. I think it's important, right? Went to Ash Wednesday. It was an awesome experience, right? But there is a one section, children were yelling something. I don't know what it was, but it threw the wife and I off completely. But we didn't come here to talk about all this stuff. We came to talk about the freaking player draft, Ruby. I'm super excited for this. Couldn't be happier.
You know, if you ever want to see something wild, come on over to Daniel's pre-K at Chapel. The 3-year-old class goes wild during Chapel. as
Oh, I
Lutheran
can only
school.
imagine.
It's
I
it's
can only
it's a blast. But hey, we're not going to divert too much here. So back to player draft, Griff. You've kind of seen this come to fruition from the thought we had however many months ago to get this going again. So seeing it from the inside, you see it to where now we're about a week and a half out. When people hear player draft, they might not know what it is. They might think it's just a cool event, but from a player standpoint, why does something like this matter in your opinion?
I think it's important because it kind of gives athletes a way to get drafted. I don't know if it's a weird way to kind of say it. I don't know if that's the right verbiage to use, but I think overall it's a unique experience. It's something
Yep.
that, I think playing, when I think about, myself in high school and even, college, like you think about the banquets, you think about, the end of the year stuff that schools do, but no one really does anything before the season.
Right.
Right. You might do that a little bit in college when you have silent auctions or stuff in
The
the fall.
opening dinner type of thing, the first pitch
Right.
dinner.
Right. But you're not, essentially in high school, it's not really a thing because of, basketball, hockey, and, other sports that go on in the winter. So I think overall, the player draft is going to be awesome. I think it's a unique experience for athletes to really hear their name called. I know you've alluded to that over the last few weeks, but
Yep.
I think it's a fun event to get some of the best players in the state together, right? You get to kind of mingle, get to network a little bit, get to know a bunch of people, but also with this, NIL stuff, it kind of gives our sponsors kind of a way to, pitch their ideas, to some of the best players in the state, which that could be, something that, could be special. So I think overall it's going to be a great event. We're excited to do it. I think you guys have worked, you and Brandon have worked your tails off, to make it happen. Yeah. I'm just background noise at this point. I'm just the tables and chairs guy.
No. You get to be a co-host when we get this going.
I didn't want to.
Me and Chad, we're going to be the little brain trust bringing this to life on air.
I didn't want to toot my horn, but it's going to be exciting. I couldn't be more excited for myself, selfishly. But no, I think it's going to be awesome. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait to see everyone. Can't wait to meet a lot of guys who I haven't met before. So I think it's going to be awesome. Hopefully people come, fire back at me with the honest feedback because, hey, just a little bit of forecasting for you, Rube, for the shows this year. We might be calling some people out. Now that we got a year under my belt, we're going to be more honest because I am Michigan high school baseball's honesty broker. I will take that name. I will take that title. I don't care what anyone says. I am the honesty broker. And we're going to have some honest conversations, right? And if I was allowed to draft a team, watch out. I'd surprise some people. Let me put it.
Oh, yeah. So back to this. Do you think, like, in your opinion, do you think high school players are getting enough of these type of moments? Because in my opinion, I almost feel like the sport of baseball for the youth, and take that 18 and under, right? 18 all the way down to these youngest of 8 years old and even younger. I mean, shoot, I just signed up Daniel for 3-year-old T-ball here in a couple weeks. We got the Savannah banana gear ready to rock. But for these kids that are these ages now, are they getting enough types of these moments, or is it more businessy than anything at this point, in your opinion?
I think it's different than that. I think it's more summer ball focused, right? I don't think a lot of high school, unless you go to one of the top, programs in the country, or not in the country, in the state, right, for high school baseball, like it's not really viewed because summer ball kind of casts that shadow or casts an umbrella over everything, right? Like, people treat, high school baseball as spring training almost for summer ball. Right. And I think this is a way, incorporating the draft, incorporating our combine and stuff like that. It's kind of a way to get out of that. Right. And sit there and say, hey, this is, these 4 years are some of your best moments of your entire life. And then the guys who are, fortunate enough to go play college baseball, those are going to be great moments as well. But for the, 80, 85, 90% of athletes out there who aren't going to be playing college baseball, it's one of those things that could be special. And I think it's important. And I think, I just lost my train of thought. I'm not going to lie. I had a great closing statement there, but I just lost my train of thought. So I'm going to kick it back to you, Rube.
And this is exactly why you cannot be the lead person on this broadcast when we have this.
No, hey, listen, I don't want to be number one. Right.
We'll just shift right into our next thing. So let's talk evolution since the first draft. First one was a couple years ago. Brandon Justice and Brian Sakowski worked on this with the prep we are thrilled to have the prep back as the avenue that's going to be allowing this to be broadcasted across YouTube, across social media. And it's going to live for the eternity of the internet on the internet. And we're very thrilled to have that. So let's talk about the evolution from it. So before it was an event they had at another facility, they had a really fantastic amount of groups of kids that were there. Everyone got drafted, but hey, what we're looking to do this year is we're growing the buzz. The players who at that point were spectators are now the participants, which is a really cool concept here, guys. So we've had even some interaction with a handful of kids saying, hey, I watched this in middle school, and now to be able to be attending this, it's pretty cool. And for us to start seeing these messages, that itself, Griff, that's pretty cool.
No, that's awesome. And it kind of speaks to, what Brandon's done and, Sak's done for the last, handful of years, running cold weather bats. Right. And now we're not, changing anything. We're just improving it, right. And enhancing it. Right. And I think that's what we wanted to do is we wanted to make this a really professional event, right. That people are going to look forward to each and every year. It's definitely something that, I know I just said this, but it's definitely something, as an athlete back in the day, you would look forward to this, right? You would look forward to these type of things, because even as you could just look at all the traction that the Michigan High School All-Star Game has gotten over the years. And that's been played since, the 70s or whatever, right? But at the same time, that's one of the more special events in the state, right? It's you have the dinner, you have the banquet the night before, and then you play the game. So essentially we're trying to kind of recreate that feeling and recreate that buzz with our own brand and, do some special things because of it.
Yeah. And really what we're trying to have here is just an annual event that it's something that guys that are, whether they're in the top 100 or they're within that range, it's something that's circled for every single year, right? We want to have players wanting to be at this. We want sponsor partners who want to be a part of this in every single year, because you flip it to the sponsor perspective, and we'll touch on some of them that are working with us here in a little bit. This isn't your typical event, right? You're not just putting your logo on the fence of the local high school saying I'm supporting them. You are being able to support these kids and their journeys they've all been on, and you're able to be there and see all of the work they've all put in. Like, we all know kids that are going to be attending this that both of us have known for, I feel like some of these kids have started walking in some ways. So to be able to see them now have this kind of a moment, it's going to be pretty cool for not only, just the families, but every single person in attendance, and that'll be streaming this online.
Well, that's the one thing that, I think that we talked about kind of before when we were, prepping this and trying to create enhance this, right? Is just how can we improve the experience? Right. And obviously our main focus is the players and the families, right? That's obviously number one, but how do we enhance the overall sponsorship experience? How can we sit there and say, hey, let's get these guys involved? Like you said, not just throwing a banner on the outfield fence, but like, hey, let's do, interviews, right? Let's do, different meet and greet stuff or companies have, not to give away too many secrets, but but having their products there for guys to try, right. And stuff like that. And I think that just, it enhances the overall experience, like I said, and it just shows that, we're truly making this, a one of a kind event. And that's something that we're looking forward to because we've put our heart and souls into this. Right. This isn't something that we're just going to throw together on a piece of paper and just say, hey, let's figure it out. Right. There's been a lot of prep. There's been a lot of work behind the scenes. Right. And I'm truly excited for the finished product.
Yeah. And that kind of leads us right into the next topic here, which is the structure of this, what else is being included in this kind of storyline wise. So yeah, it's cool. Players are getting drafted, right? We're going to have 4 coaches doing the drafting, but let's have a little bit more fun with this, guys. We all, in some ways of one or another, have played some sort of fantasy baseball. Griff, I know you're a fantasy expert over here, self-proclaimed. Me, 3 out of 4 last years in my league. Thank you very much. Now, let's talk about what is in this for these coaches drafting. We are going to be keeping the statistics of every single player on every single team. And we are going to total them up in a rotisserie style standings that we'll be sharing on all future episodes here and doing check-ins. And whichever coach has the most points at the end of the regular season only. We're not doing playoffs. It has to be regular season. That coach will win this year's trophy and all the bragging rights associated with it. This coming up with this concept of it, I know Griff, you're going to agree with this. I wish I was drafting a team now.
Oh, dude,
I'm jealous. I'm jealous of we got. Let's name drop here. We have some fantastic guys. I'll name drop a couple of them. We got Brandon Justice, who's going to draft one team. Basically, we're going to probably assume downriver contingency. We'll go with that.
1,000%. That's
EFL.
That's going to be downriver U. Come on now.
The next we have this is probably going to be my pick for the champion because he just wins, and that's Dan Samini.
I knew you were going to say that.
He just wins. Griff, you're very familiar with how he wins.
Yeah, he plays Samini ball.
It
doesn't count. Samini ball does not count on paper. Just want to throw that out there. I hope he's listening. I know he's going to be listening to this.
Yep, he will be listening.
Does not count on paper.
Nope. So Dan Samini, the head coach of Warren De La Salle, will be one of our other coaches. And the other one we'll tease off right now is going to be Joe Neal. If you guys are familiar with 2SP Sports Performance, you guys have all seen Joe Neal on there on all their socials, everywhere out there. We are extremely excited to have Joe as one of our drafters, and we'll dive into this in just a few minutes. We're also going to have 2SP as one of our sponsors of the event as well. So let's talk storylines here, Griff. When you look at the pool of players this year, what is standing out to you in terms of players that have opted into saying, yeah, I want to be a part of an event like this?
There's a lot of good players.
There is.
there's a lot of good players across the entire state. And I think one of the things that going back to kind of our previous conversation, why we want to do this is we want to highlight everyone, right? Like if you're a good player in the middle of nowhere in Michigan, right? But you're good enough, and we recognize that. We want to show that recognition.
Yeah.
And I think just from a talent perspective, a depth, there's a lot of good players out there. Not a lot. I'm going to throw this out there. Not a lot of good catchers, depth wise. I'm going to say that right now. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying, it seems like we got a lot of middle infielders, obviously a lot of pitchers.
Yep.
Not that many outfielders or catchers, which is shocking because it's usually the other way around.
Well, I'll pause you right there before you keep going. I just want to put this out there. We do have a bunch of invites out there, players. Yeah. If you have seen them, please, we'd love to have you there. If you have questions, shoot us a message. But
you get to see my face. Come on.
Yes.
Who wants to? Come on.
On top of that, guys, if you haven't gotten an invite yet, that does not mean you will not be invited. We are going to be trying to finalize our rosters over this next handful of days. So be sure to keep a lookout on all your socials for messages from that Cold Weather Bats Instagram. Now you can continue. So let me ask you this, Griff. If you had the first overall pick, where are you going? Like, you're not a drafter, so you can throw this out there. Where are we going?
I would be taking Flip Waters with the number 1 overall pick.
And why?
Because, obviously there's a lot of guys who are definitely worthy of the number 1 overall pick, but I truly think Flip is one of the best players in the state, if not the best.
Yep.
And it's not just, there might be some bias there.
No,
who's to say? But I can be biased. I can be bought. To all of our sponsors out there, to all of our players out there, I can be bought, right? But I would definitely Flip Waters, number 1 overall pick. That would be my guy.
So if you had to, and let's talk the overall roster. Like, you're going to have about 4 pitchers, one catcher, couple corner, couple middle, and we're going to do a handful of utility players as well. We're trying to have it pretty, averaged out, pretty even in terms of pitching stats and offensive stats, how you can earn them. Where are you going first? You kind of hit on the catchers are kind of light. So do you build around pitching first, or are we trying to get our maybe positional guys that there's not as much depth at?
I think you got to think of this like fantasy baseball.
You do,
right? I think.
Let me get into the head of Griffin Green. What's your fantasy baseball?
You don't want to do that, my friend. That's a twisted place. We won't even get that's for a different podcast. But no, I think looking into it, I think you kind of touched on it. I think you want to, go after the guys or go after the positions that don't have a lot of depth, right? Whether it's catchers or outfielders, like I mentioned before. I think that's, that would be my focus if I was drafting, because I think there's a lot of really good pitchers out there, a lot of guys who throw really well for their high school teams. So I think that would be, somewhat of a premium. So if I'm looking at value, right? Like if I'm building a roster, I know I can get Cam Paolo in the 3rd round. I know I can do it. So I might, my first couple picks might be position guys. Then we go pitchers. And then now it's just a free for all. Now I'm taking best available, right? Some guys who are shortstops, you might have to play third base. We're looking for that. We're looking for versatility on my roster, even though I'm not drafting, which is honestly a shame. I should be drafting. But anyway, I think overall, I think you just look at it very similar how you look at fantasy baseball, fantasy football, stuff like that. I think that's kind of the mindset to go off of, because, no one drafts a quarterback in the 1st round of fantasy football. Don't know why. I learned that the hard way when I was like in 6th grade. But you always grab your wide receivers, you always grab your running backs. In the baseball sense, you got to grab your position guys, right? Because they're the ones that can either win you a league or might lose you a league if they go 0 for 30 at the start of the spring.
Yep.
I'm not worried about that because I got flip blockers on my team.
Yeah, I mean, I think you it's funny because I'm going to be kind of the opposite of you. I think I'm going with Mr. Katke because the depth of the catching.
It's a great pick.
It's a great pick. Give me that Vandy boy. Let's rock and roll.
Not as good as my pick, but you'll get there.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see. So let's talk about
maybe we draft the team ourselves.
Yeah, we don't have enough
outside of this, and it's just a competition between you and I. Maybe we can do that.
Yeah.
Hey, so maybe
so let's talk about the room. If someone's either, hey, I want to come, don't know if I can swing it, or I'm still debating, what are they walking into? So for players, for families, let's talk about it as greater picture, right? We hit on this at the top. Basically, it's a fantastic event for players to have a night away from, I want to say hustle and bustle. It's really more just the craziness of really, I mean, this is February 28th. Tryouts begin, March 9th, correct, Griff?
Yeah.
We'll go with that. So you're going to have that many days to get your final prep. I know there's a couple showcases in between those dates as well. So what this event is able to do, it's a fun event. It's a Saturday night, 7 p.m. in prime time. If you're a kid thinking about going, you're going to see a bunch of other really good baseball players. They're going to be at an event like this. We're going to have activations. We're going to have all the potential things there to have just an incredible event, an incredible evening. There's going to be cameras flashing. Your teammates are going to be there cheering you on. You're going to walk across the stage, get your name on the broadcast. You're going to get interviewed. We do have some sideline reporters that's going to have some fun with us. Griff, out of all of this I've listed, I'm sure I've missed some things as well. What are you most excited about?
I mean, I'm like I said in the beginning, I'm excited to see all the guys, meet the guys who I haven't met before, right? And just kind of chop it up, just talk shop, right? I think that's one of my favorite things to do, right? It kind of gives us that little bit of a locker room sense that, I know you and I miss on a daily basis.
100%.
But I think, one of the things that I want to touch on is, with this event, it really highlights all the hard work that goes into the off season, the spring, the summer, and stuff like that. Because truly, like, it's, to be invited to this thing, you got to work your tail off. Right? It's not just based on talent. There's a lot of other factors that we go into, right? It's not just strictly based off the PBR rankings or perfect game stuff. There's a lot of other factors that we consider for guys that, we want there, right? And we want the obviously the best players, but we also want the highest character individuals that we can, because I think that's a great representation of the sport. And I think those guys are the ones that are going to make it and play for a long time. So it's overall, I think, personally, I'm just excited for it all. I'm excited to, hear the different thoughts from either coaches or players that are there, and it's going to be an awesome opportunity for these guys.
It's just going to be such an incredible experience. So let's touch on our sponsors that we have thus far. You'll see it if you're watching this on YouTube in the bottom right corner. Our presenting sponsor, AstroTurf, the official turf of Major League Baseball. They are proud to sponsor Cold Weather Bats and the Cold Weather Bats Player Draft. We are extremely excited to have them as our lead sponsor in this event. A couple others that we'll quickly mention here. Not going to be all of them. We will get to all of them here as we go. We are pumped to have Perfect Game. Perfect Game is going to be one of our sponsors. If you're in the state of Michigan or really anywhere in the country, you know who Perfect Game is, and we are thrilled to have that national brand supporting the Cold Weather Bats Player Draft. You'll see a lot more coming from them on those types of things. You heard me mention it a little while ago. 2SP Sports Performance. We are thrilled to have Joe Neal and his team there on site next weekend. But in addition to being a part of the sponsorship of this event, we are extremely thrilled to have a company called Baseline, who is a website provider for sports facilities, primarily baseball facilities, that is going to be a big sponsor of this event as well. More coming on them. In addition, those are just a few of the sponsors we want to highlight here, but let's zoom out, bigger picture here, Griff. What is something like this player draft here? What does it do for the state of Michigan here, for Michigan baseball in the high school sense of things, in your opinion? Whether it's development, exposure, culture, what do you see?
I think it's a notoriety thing. And I think it's like you're, considering the cold weather states, right?
Yep.
High school baseball down in Florida and Georgia and Alabama and some of the Southeast states have already started. So I think it kind of, it kind of highlights, the official start of, high school baseball up in Michigan, but also kind of, shows for people who are either following along on social media or stuff like that. It just kind of helps showcase and notarize. I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at me. But
anyway, using it right, that's debatable.
Yeah, no, I did not do well on the grammar section on the ACT, hand up accountability. That was just not my strong suit, but which you guys can probably already tell. But anyway, I think it just kind of it helps showcase, help gains, exposure for some of the guys. And obviously the top players, they're going to go travel in the summer and they're going to do all the crazy stuff. They'll get all the press clippings and stuff like that. But for some of the guys who are quote unquote unsung heroes, within their, whether it's like the west side of Michigan, northern Michigan, some of the, opposite sides of the Southeast, because I think that's where a lot of the attention gets focused on, especially when it comes to baseball coverage across the United States. It really seems like everyone focuses on the Southeast because it's so saturated.
Yep.
I think it allows, everyone to kind of have a voice, if you will, or something like that, to where it's like, okay, these are some of the best players in the state from all over. And I think that's something that we really wanted to showcase.
Yeah, and I think you hit it right on the head. This is just a really fun thing that we're going to showcase all the players. And that's, I think, also goes to show why we're getting the talent we're getting to show and the involvement on the sponsor level as well. So one other sponsor we forgot to, not really forgot, but we're going to mention here with his own, we're going to highlight their brand here in a second, and then we're going to go right into our ending here is going to be G Brand. They are a tremendous sponsor, not only of this event, but of us as a whole. So if you are a company or a school or a sports organization looking for a way to up your apparel game, reach out to our friends over at G Brand, and they will always take care of you.
The store is set up. He's got the order, and he's off. It's a full court press. These brands are knocking it out of the park. This, my friends, is the speed we've come to expect from this team. Just look at the precision of that move. And it's out of here.
Also voiced by our friend Chad Bush at the Prep.
Love that. I didn't know we were playing a video tonight. So I started to talk because I was going to mention that G Brand fits Husky guys like myself very well. All right, we'll tighten the biceps. right? You want to show off the guns every once in a while, but G brand, I wish that back in the day, Bishop Foley, all our gear was G brand, right? We
Yep.
just got some generic, I think, Badger stuff or whatever, right? But I think they're one of the best, jersey, T-shirt, workout gear companies that I know, and then I wish I wore every single day as a player, right? And they fit the best, they feel the best, and we're super excited to have them as sponsor us at this event.
Yeah. I mean, slow pitch softball guy here, because that's all I can do at this point. Love being outfitted by G brand. They do a fantastic job with the unis, and I'm a big fan all the time. And really, they make every team look good. So,
oh yeah, they do a great job.
They do. All right, so here's the bottom line. The Cold Weather Bats Player Draft. It's not just about where someone's going to get picked. It's not just about the teams, the rankings, or who's going to go first, or who even goes last. It's about every single player having their moment. It's about hearing their name called in front of their family and friends, walking across the stage, looking out into a room filled with all the people who helped get them there, figuratively or for real. And it's about recognizing the hours, the early mornings. I don't know if the 5 a.m. practices are still a thing like they used to be when we were in high school, but the failures, the growth, everything. Some of the guys will be on stage next Saturday. We're in middle school watching this one. Now it's going to be their turn. So that's really what this is all about. February 28th, 7 p.m. at HVAC in Milford. If you're not going to be there, you can tune in live on YouTube with Cold Weather Bats and the Prep. If you are looking for those URLs, those are on the bottom of your screen right now, where you can find them in the days coming on all of our social medias. Come experience it if you want to be there. It's not just a draft. It's a moment these players are going to ideally remember for the rest of their lives. And we are so excited to be able to have this event. We hope to see you there. Griffin, anything else to close us out?
Like, comment, subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Be a friend, tell a friend.